I thought this would be a scenic Alpine weekend. Dramatic ridgelines, golden hour peaks, maybe a bit of strudel with a view. Instead, I took an overnight train from Amsterdam, barely slept, climbed 850 meters into freezing fog and saw almost nothing. But the wild part, it turned out to be one of the most memorable hikes I've ever done. No views, all vibes, and one hut 2,600 meters up that made it all worth it. I booked an overnight train from Amsterdam to Innsbruck. No cabin, just a seat and some weird dreams. I even got some work done, or pretended to. By 9 AM I was in Innsbruck, bags in storage, water in hand, and on a bus to the start of the Zirbenweg trail. It's a panoramic ridge trail above Innsbruck that leads to one of the highest huts in the region, the Glungezer Hütte, at 2,610 meters. The plan? Hike the ridge, sleep in the clouds, and catch the sunrise over the Austrian Alps. I'd come all this way for the views, the famous Zirbenweg Ridge, supposedly one of the most scenic trails in Austria. But 10 minutes in, the world was about 50 meters wide. Still, I figured, Moody is cinematic, right? It's pretty epic, right? I mean, came here, it's very cloudy, thinking, okay, it's going to be a slog, but look at this view. It is incredible. First time in Austria for me. And yeah, not disappointing. It's really beautiful so far. I just imagine when the clouds clear completely what it's going to look like. Looking forward to see it. Holding thumbs. There you go, beautiful gondola ride, and yeah, at the start of the hike, I'm going to do the Zirbenweg trail. So be going up the mountain here, only about 12 kilometers today I think. But the last bit will be quite a bit of uphill. It's a bit rainy now, so I was contemplating doing a coffee maybe first and see if it'll clear up. But yeah, I'll sleep in a hut up there tonight and hopefully it'll be nice and warm. So let's get started. The start was almost peaceful. The clouds were hanging low, but they moved like a mist in a dream. It felt mysterious, not threatening. There were trees, pine needles underfoot, a wide trail gently curving along the ridge. I thought, this is going to be a vibe. It reminded me of hikes in the Western Cape back home in South Africa, just with less sun and more benches. Beautiful walk, my goodness. I can just imagine if these clouds clear what the views must be look like. Yeah. First section is pretty easy, even though I'm out of breath. Yeah, I came with the train and didn't have the best sleep, but had a bit of sleep at least. Overnight train from Amsterdam to Innsbruck. and took a bus to the start of the trail, well, to the gondola, and then took the ski lift up to the start of the trail. And yeah, I've been enjoying it ever since. Been probably about an hour or so in. But yeah, it's you can see the weather starting to turn. You can see sort of brown coming in, so autumn is around the corner. But it's beautiful to walk in the different surroundings again in the mountains. It's crazy to think 2 months ago I was in the Dolomites, then in Iceland a couple of weeks ago, and then last week in Luxembourg, and now here. Everything's giving like a different vibe. So it's nice to be able to travel Europe. Yeah, so let's see what the rest of the trail has to offer and in store for us. Energy is really low today, so taking it nice and slow. It's amazing how sleep can affect your body. Oh, well, at least not too long today, and not, yeah, so we'll be fine. The weather's holding out, not storming yet, so probably about a 25 quarter way in. So another bit to go. And the last 4 kilometers will be uphill, probably take an hour and a half or so. It's quite steep, about 800 meters of elevation gain in 4K, so yeah, it'll be a challenge, but then the hut will be waiting on top, so something cool to drink, something nice to eat, one last overnight hut for the summer, and then it's until next year, until the next one. It was a really good season for hiking. Been very lucky with the weather, etc. up until now. So yeah, feeling very blessed. This is more like a celebration lap at the moment, is exploring a new country and seeing what Austria has to offer. It's the hike is not too hectic, so it's just taking it nice and easy. It's a good celebration. But something was off. The fog was thickening, the wind picked up, the trail was empty, and the ridgeline, gone, swallowed by cloud. And then the trail turned. It started going up. Not gently, but sharply. The benches vanished, the laugh stopped, my thighs lit up, and the mist became a wall. I was no longer walking with the mountain, I was now climbing against it. Every time I thought I was near the top, the trail just kept going up. The wind started howling across the slopes. I couldn't see more than 10 meters. My fingers were freezing, I had no crampons, and zero idea how much further it still was. I saw some sheep, I think. And just when I started wondering if this whole thing was a mistake, I saw it, perched on the ridge, still, silent, like it had been waiting for me. The Glungezer Hütte, 2,600 meters above sea level, a bed, a meal, and the warmth I hadn't felt all day. And there we go, end of day one. Hut just in front of me here, it's now 3 o'clock, so it took about 4 hours. Yeah, climb was tough. Can you hear me out of breath here? Nice steep climb. It's quite misty and cloudy up here, so I'll probably attempt the summit to the mountain tomorrow morning to see if the weather is better. For now I'll check in and probably grab a drink and relax a bit. We're almost tired today. Let me concentrate there. When I stepped inside the hut, it was completely empty. No hikers, no staff in sight, just silence, wood, and the smell of warm food somewhere in the back. It felt like walking into an Alpine dream, like the mountain had built this just for me. The temperature jumped instantly. It was warm, clean, organized, and surprisingly modern. They had card machines, espresso, even apple strudel. The sleeping quarters were tight but cozy. I didn't mind the snoring later, it just meant I wasn't alone up here. Dinner was basic but warm and delicious. Some kind of soup, a main, a slice of cake, all included in the 80 euros. It's rare for Austria to feel like a good deal, but this was a 10 out of 10. Cheers. Done with day one. I spent the rest of the evening exactly how I imagined it. Boots off, coffee in hand, book open, and just watching the clouds race past the windows. This is why I came, not just for the views, but for the walls. The next morning started crisp, windy, and just barely clear. It was still freezing, but I could finally see where I actually was. It was like waking up in a castle in the sky, and I wasn't ready to leave. But I had a custom route plan. Instead of returning the same way, I wanted to descend toward a different valley to see more of the mountains from the other side, and maybe some tiny villages.
The ridge softened, the rocks gave way to grass, and eventually the trail dropped into a forest. For the first time, I could walk without looking at my feet every second. The sun even broke through now and then. The ski slopes looked surreal without snow. Just green meadows and empty lifts. I passed Alpine lakes, mountain huts, more benches, and you better believe I sat down on every single one of them. It was calm, like the mountain was saying, "We're good now, go home."
And there we go. It's quite a long day of downhill. Last section was quite a bit of road. But soon I'll enter, next 10 minutes I'll enter a little village here. And there's a direct bus to Innsbruck from there. So yeah, very nice walk. Looking forward to get to Innsbruck, get my bag, check into the hostel and have a nice shower. Clean off a bit. But yeah, it's a nice way to spend a weekend and get some fresh air. And I'll have about 32 hours in Innsbruck just to explore a bit, so very happy about that. So yeah, great weekend.
Eventually I reached the bus stop, sat on the bench and just waited and took it all in. And looked back up to the peaks I just walked across. They look so far away. And that's what hiking does. In one day it stretches you, breaks you, lifts you, and when it's over you feel like something has shifted. You're not just back down, you're back different. I came to the mountains to get away, but what I found was something deeper. Somewhere between the clouds and the cold, the coffee and the climb, I remembered what silence feels like, what effort feels like, what being alive feels like. It wasn't the perfect weather, or the perfect footage. I didn't even sleep well on the train. But it was perfect in the way that these trips always are, when things don't go to plan. When the views are earned, not guaranteed. When you come home a little more tired, a little more whole. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. Maybe with the drone leash next time. But for now, I'll hold on to that moment on the ridge, alone, in the clouds, and maybe that's enough. If this video gave you even a glimpse of that feeling, or made you want to lace up your boots, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. I'd love to hear about your own mountain moments. Until next time, keep exploring.